You're in Athens and you want to do some shopping. Well, I've got 6 suggestions for you, starting right in the centre of Athens and working our way out to about 30 minutes outside. My first suggestion is Ermou Street or Hermes Street, and this is the equivalent of Oxford Street in the UK or maybe Fifth Avenue in New York. This is the key shopping street in Athens, not the only, but the key, and it has everything. It runs from Syntagma Square, the Greek Parliament, down the hill towards Grammikos, the ancient Hellenic cemetery, and it's pedestrianised to about halfway down its length, round about Monastiraki and Plaka, with the Acropolis on the hill above. And you have everything here. You have all the high street chain shops, you have the major department stores, and as you can see, as you walk down this street, not only is it pedestrianised and fantastic, but you have various streets off to either sides with cafes, bars, other shops and so on. This, if you're going to go to one area in Athens for shopping, is where you should go for the main shopping. Ermou Street. The only perhaps negative thing I would say is it's a little bit touristy. Yes, you have the Greeks here. They come here, it is the main shopping street, but it is also thronged with tourists. And a couple of my suggestions later on are more about where the Greeks would go to shop themselves. But Ermou Street, definitely the place to go if you're only going to do one shopping street in Athens. If you want to stay touristy, my next recommendation is Monastiraki Flea Market. This basically begins from Monastiraki Square. As you come out of the tube, the market crosses the square and runs in either direction for probably 500 metres and is a flea market. It used to be very famous for leather goods, but this is a tourist area and you're paying tourist prices and you're getting tourist tat, to be honest. But it's somewhere you should go because you can find things. If you want an Olympiakos football shirt, or if you want some Greek souvenirs, this is the place to go. And on a Sunday, actually, you can also find an antiques market about 2/3 of the way along in a little square area. It runs parallel to the road by the Agora, so it's ideal to explore and then have some lunch, because if you come back along past the Agora, you have all the restaurants and so on, back down to Hadrian's Library, and then turn left back into Monastiraki Square. So my number 2, very touristy, but Monastiraki Flea Market, an absolute must if you're a tourist and you want to do some shopping in Athens. My third recommendation takes us out of the centre of Athens and up into the northern suburbs and to the shopping area and district of Kifisia. So get the metro, go from Syntagma Square or go from Monastiraki and go up to Kifisia. You'll find it on the metro. And you come out, you go across the road, up through the park here. It's about 400 or 500 metres walk, across Kifisia Avenue, the main avenue here with the bus station, and into Kifisia itself. And there are loads of shops. This is a very upmarket residential area of Athens where a lot of Athenians will go on a Saturday to shop. And it's worth saying you need to explore this area. It has a history going back, like the rest of Athens, about 2,000 years, and there are loads of decent independent and upmarket chain shops here. Worth exploring. Go up to Kefalari, brilliant for lunch. You can spend a very happy afternoon here and not waste your time. So my number 3, Kifisia. Now, I should mention that shops have strange opening times in Greece. On Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, generally, they shut from 2:30 to 5:30 and open again after 5:30. This is just to avoid the heat of the sun. On Wednesdays, they shut at 2:30 and that is it, and they are closed all day Sunday. However, Monday, they are open till 5:30, 6, 7 in the evening, and they don't close. Now, my fourth recommendation is also in the northern suburbs, an area called Marousi, and you can get a train here to the Mall, or you can get a taxi. Again, it's actually quite close to Kifisia, about 10 minutes from Kifisia, and this is an indoor mall. This is the largest mall in the Balkans. There are about 150 shops and restaurants here, big cinema, and you may not want to go here, but if you have a bad day, if it's raining, if it's wet, if you want to get undercover, this perhaps is the place to go. And it's like any big Western mall. You have H&M, you have Zara, etc., etc. But it's also interesting because it's technically an illegal operation. I'm not going to go more into that. You can look it up online if you want to. But the mall in Marousi, my number 4. Now, again, we're still in the northern suburbs. There's a reason for this, because the northern suburbs are a very nice residential area. There is an area called Chalandri. Now, Chalandri has a tube station, but the tube station, unfortunately, is actually nowhere near Chalandri. It's in near Chalandri, and it's about 6 or 7 minutes in a taxi to Platea Chalandri or Chalandri Square, which is where you want to go. And this is a very residential area with fantastic shops. And again, like Kifisia, it's somewhere that on a Saturday, Athenians will make it a destination for shopping, and it's a very cosmopolitan area. It's quite old-fashioned in a way, in the 50s, 60s, 70s. It's not a beautiful area, but it has a lot of character, and the square in particular with St. Nicholas Church, with this parade of shops and restaurants and so on, is very popular, and the main shopping areas are pedestrianised, and again you will find a very good mix of main chain stores and independents. It has a very different feel to Kifisia, obviously a very different feel to the indoor mall, and it is my number 5. And actually, if you really want to get in touch with Greek life along with Kifisia, this is probably the place to go. And should you get a taxi, it's only about 20 minutes. It's probably about 17 or 18 euros in a taxi. You shouldn't pay more, and I would recommend it if you really want to explore Greek Athens. Now, my final area is actually technically outside Athens, and it's on the way to the port of Rafina. It's probably about half an hour to 40 minutes in a taxi. You can also get buses here. There are no trains. It's not on the metro. So if you want to go here, you really need to go for a day. And there is enough to do here for a day. It's actually a great place to take the kids. If you've got young kids and they're really bored of central Athens, this may be somewhere to take them, because there are amusement parks for the younger children and so on here, which will keep them occupied. But we're talking about the McArthurGlen shopping park, and this is basically outdoors, and it's fantastic. You have actually 2 shopping parks which come into one. I call it the McArthurGlen, but it has about 130, 140 shops. It has good restaurants. As I said, it has activities for the kids to keep the kids occupied, and a really good mix of shops. You've got very high class shops here, the designer brands. You've got Hugo Boss, you've got Dior, etc. But you've also got electronic shops. You've got the general high street shops, but in an outdoor setting, and a very pleasant one at that. So if you have a chance, if you want to get out there, if you're looking for something different to do, go to Spata, not Sparta, Spata. Sparta's about 200 kilometres in the wrong direction, in a taxi or in a bus, and visit the McArthurGlen shopping centre. You won't regret it if you want a day out shopping. You've got young kids who you need to occupy. Now, I also want to give honourable mentions to a couple of places I haven't featured because I don't really have video footage of them. The first is Glyfada down the Athens Riviera. Go to Glyfada. It's an expat area similar in many ways to Kifisias, but on the seafront, and there is fantastic shopping down there. The second area I want to mention is Kolonaki and Omonia. Again, upmarket shops. You have the original Hondos, which is the Walgreens or Boots of Athens, and if you're in the area, have a look. They're very good for shopping. But I hope this is useful. Enjoy yourselves in Athens. It's incredibly safe, and I'm sure you'll have a great time. Thank you.